Hello, it's Stewart Henderson, the manager of McDonald Realty First Pioneer again, and I wanted to follow up the last two blogs that I did where I pointed out some of the things that can go wrong when you try to buy your house first and then sell yours. And it was kind of scary and it's threatening, so I wanted to finish it off, as I mentioned in the last blog, by saying, well, it's not that bad. It can be done, and it can be done quite easily, without having those kind of problems that we talked about before, without selling your home and ending up not having bought the home you wanted to, or losing a lot of equity out of your house in the transfer. And there is a way to avoid those and to do it properly. And it involves basically doing both things at the same time. So how that works is that you begin with your realtor, select the realtor that you want to work with, have them prepare the market information on your property, and sit down with them and go over that and make a decision as to how much your house will sell for and how much you want to ask for the house. And put the documentation together and sign it and send your realtor on the way to get the house into the marketplace. Because there's a lot of work now that the realtor's got to do to get this marketing plan up and running. In the meantime, you want to go and see your mortgage broker or banker or whatever. I always suggest a mortgage broker simply because they have access to a lot of different lenders. When you go to your bank, you're kind of stuck with your bank's policies. They might not match what you're trying to do. So a mortgage broker has access to the last figure I heard was 31 lenders. There's probably more now, and they can figure out who might have the most reasonable mortgage for you in terms of rates and in terms of terms. And then the next thing that you do is your realtor has to get out and start showing you houses. Once the mortgage broker has told you what you can afford, and once you've decided what you're comfortable with, it's time to go and look at houses. So you're making your realtor do double duty here. They have to get busy and market your property, and at the same time they have to start showing you homes and making decisions about what kind of house you're buying, how much you're going to pay, and how is that going to work. So it becomes important, the realtor that you choose. You need someone who knows what they're doing, obviously, and someone who's willing to commit the work, because they're multitasking here. They're working on selling your house, and they're also working on finding you the next one. And so you start out and you go merrily along with showings on your house, ads running in your house, open house, things like that. And in the meantime, your realtor's taking you out for 2 or 3 hours at a time and showing you the kind of properties that you think you'd like to buy. And it takes some time to do that, because we found that buyers sometimes tend to change their mind a little bit as they start to look at houses. And they thought they wanted a 3-bedroom home with a basement, and then they see a split level, and then they start to think, well, maybe this is more like what we should be doing. So you need to look at a few houses in order to get those decisions made. And you start to see some houses that you like, and there would be the kind of houses you might buy. And it usually works fairly close, that about the time that you're settling in on which houses out there you'd really like to buy, you start to get activity on your house. You start to get offers and people interested. And so along comes an offer on your property, which is a good one. It fits within the range of what you were looking for and everything else, and you'd like to accept it. So what your realtor might do is accept the offer and add an additional subject clause for the benefit of the seller, which gives you, the seller, 3 or 4 days, 2 or 3 days, to go out and find a home to purchase. Now you've already seen these houses, so you're kind of settled. You may have 2 or 3 you're thinking about, so you go back out and see those 2 or 3 very quickly, and then decide which one you want to buy and make your offer on it. Your offer is subject to all of the normal things, but you don't have to make it subject to the sale of your house, because you're waiting 4 or 5 days while the buyer removes the subjects. So there's no need for a 72-hour clause or anything like that. It's just got the regular subjects in it about financing, home inspection, and insurance, things like that, title search. Yeah, but you give yourself enough time, your realtor gives you enough time for the buyer of your home to go ahead and remove their subjects, and then by that time you've done your buyer's due diligence and you're ready to remove yours. And in the meantime, no one's been able to knock you out of first position on this home you want to buy. So it all rolls together very, very smoothly. It takes a little bit of trust, probably a lot of trust. You have to trust your realtor to be able to handle these two things in the same time frame, but it can often be done, and usually is done. And over the years, when people have been successful, it's what I've seen is when they did it this way: put the house on the market, started to look for houses, and they always hold their house back. It's for sale, and offers will come in, but at the same time, they've seen houses they would buy if they sold the house. And the biggest problem I actually see in all of that is the dates. And I just want to caution you about that, because you could cost yourself a little bit of money and a lot of irritation if you don't watch the dates. And what I'm suggesting there is that you can't complete the purchase on the house you're buying until your buyer completes his purchase. And the lawyer can't do those two purchases on the same day. The sale of your house takes place one day, and then the next day the lawyer completes the purchase. Now, that seller needs a day or two to get out after that, which means that it may be 2 days before you can take possession of that new home that you bought. So, and then it might be a day spent cleaning up your home that the buyer's taken. So it couldn't, if I've counted right there, well, that's like 4 days, maybe 5 days between the time when you complete the sale of your home and when you give the buyer possession of your home. If you don't leave enough time in there, because these things kind of stack up like tents, and I've seen 4 or 5 of these all stacked up together. And when that happens, somebody always ends up sleeping in a motel with all of their stuff in a furniture mover's truck outside at $100 an hour, or whatever movers charge for storage. And so it might cost you an extra $1,000 or maybe even $2,000 in a night in the motel, which you really don't want to do. So when you're putting your deals together, just watch those dates. Make sure there's enough time for you to not be the person who's ending up sleeping in a motel. And it should all work fine. So I appreciate you watching these 3 videos. I hope I've been able to offer you some advice on what to do and how to avoid things. Anybody has any questions, any thoughts, give me a call if you prefer. Talk to your realtor and see how you want to have it handle it. Thank you. I'll talk to you again.